That's the ECW
Tonight,
belt.
before God and my Father is witness, I declare myself, the franchise, as the new ECW Heavyweight Champion of the World! Extreme Championship.
What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? You know who I am. Donovan, aka DVD for today. Don Van Dam. And sitting here with me,
it's Nick. I don't have a catchphrase. I like yours. DVD, that's good. And it's a bit different for me to be over here. Well, I'm not over here. I'm in the same spot I always am, but, you know, not opening up the show.
Yeah, and this is the Championship LookBack Show, yet another edition.
Yes, the second edition. I don't know if we're going to number them, but this is the second edition. We're happy to be back, man. What's this show all about? Let everybody know.
Yeah, if you can't tell by the intro, guys, tonight we're getting extreme. We're looking at the history of the ECW title. So yeah,
fucking right, man. Here we go.
Take it to the fucking house.
Yeah, if you don't follow us on Instagram and Twitter, you can get at us at PWLookBack on both of those. You can send us an email, prowrestlinglookback@gmail.com, and you can head over to iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and YouTube. That is where all the episodes are available. As we've stated before, every episode from the past is on YouTube, and we're going to slowly maybe trickle those out. Some of those original episodes will trickle out throughout the next year or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can head over to teespring.com/prowrestlinglookback if you want to get yourself a t-shirt, sweater, mug. I think there's a tank top on there now too.
Oh, I'm getting that.
Yeah, check it all out. I think that's pretty much everything. If you want to get at us on Twitter as well, you can get at me, at Salsa, SCELSA.
And my Twitter is at JustDon44.
And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We'll dive right in. It's the ECW Championship on the Championship LookBack Show.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this.
Oh,
I'm very excited for this.
You've been excited for this. This is kind of Donovan's little baby here, this show, and I don't know. I'm happy to get it going. We did our first official episode was the United States Championship that we dropped there at the beginning of February.
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe we'll do these once a month. We haven't really got a legit schedule, kind of like the roundtable or anything like that. But yeah, we'll definitely there'll be more of these coming in the future. That's for sure.
Yeah. So one thing I want to ask you off the top, just random, like I'm just throwing one at you here.
Off the hop, eh?
Yeah. When you think of like when I say ECW to you, like what do you like? Do you think of any standout maybe guys or moments? Because I know like you wouldn't have watched like the 90s type shit, but you've seen a version of ECW too.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, for anybody listening, I mean, I'm more of a newer fan, I guess you could say that, in the sense that I started watching in the mid 2000s and then took a break in the teens and came back in about 2015. Mm-hmm. Sorry for anybody who's listened to every episode, and you've probably heard me say that a fuck ton, but yeah, so when you say ECW, I think one of the first things that pops into my head is just the hard camera shot of that ECW arena.
Yeah, yeah.
And the blue mat and just kind of the chaos, the low roof.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The fans were kind of sporadic.
Yep.
Some of them were floor seats. Some of them looked like they might have been in a bleacher in the corner. There was obviously lots of scaffolding.
Oh, yeah.
Usually all around ECW arena. So all that stuff sticks out to me. I mean, it goes back to this show itself, but the championship, because I don't remember, and I mean, like I said, I didn't watch it live, but in the sense, when I say remember, I mean, you know, clips that WWE's posted or going on the network or watching stuff on YouTube. I don't remember visually the other belts. I think I've seen a picture of the tag team titles, and if there was a TV champion, I'm sure there was, or something like that, or I don't know if they had a women's belt. But the ECW Championship, I mean, for me at least, is the only belt that I remember from that organization, that company, that promotion.
Yeah. The traditional one.
Yeah, that one. And like I said, when you say ECW, the first thing that popped into my head was the ECW arena, that hard camera shot, and honestly, maybe it's because I'm more of a fan and I've been a fan for a while, but Taz. I picture Taz with that stance where he's got the cross. Yeah. Anybody listening who's seen ECW knows what I'm talking about, but if you haven't, his arms crossed in the corner, that big, just menacing Taz look.
Oh, yeah.
So
I like it. Good. Yeah, no, I was just curious. I just wanted to, get your take on that. I didn't actually watch it live either.
Yeah, no. The only stuff I watched live was the reincarnation 06-07.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to later.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun to talk about.
It will. Hopefully fun to listen to as well.
Yeah, so no, back in the late 90s, even not so much like the early 90s, because I wouldn't have had any idea of ECW at the time, but yeah, more late into my later years of wrestling, finding out about ECW. And I remember in I want to say early 2000s, maybe 2002, 2001. I remember one of my buddies who used to get pay-per-views recorded.
Okay.
And I remember
on
watching,
tape?
Yeah, on tape.
Oh, that's a VHS tape for anybody who doesn't know what that is. It's a black rectangle about an inch thick, maybe 5-6 inches long.
Yeah.
You can record things on television with these.
Google it. Yeah, millennials or whatever. I don't know.
I mean, anybody who's listening is probably our age or older too.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know what I mean. You get the joke.
But yeah, man, I remember this one pay-per-view. I don't know exactly which one it was. I know there was a Spike Dudley match with Mike Awesome, and it was for the ECW title. And yeah, I just remember the grainy look of the VHS. And
oh yeah,
yeah, man. New Jack too. That crazy guy. He's this crazy dude, black guy.
I feel like I wouldn't. Sorry to go off topic, but I feel like I wouldn't want to watch any of this stuff in HD.
Yeah, no,
you're right.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, no.
It just wouldn't be the same. And not to go off topic, but this is a tradition of the Championship LookBack Show. We have, random DVDs of championship titles and memorable moments. So we play that in the background. And right now we've got the most violent ECW matches, Bloodsport. Shout out to Mike D for the copy of the DVD. But yeah, so that's playing in the background for us if anybody wanted to get the gist of what the room is like here.
Yeah, the vibe's extreme.
Championship LookBack. What's her name again?
Beulah.
Beulah McGillicuddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's having a match there. But
Tommy Dreamer's girl.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Well, I guess we can talk about the title. We know what we're here for, I guess. Let's maybe get right into it.
Yeah, I've got two here. I got two different things because I know you've done most of the research and the notes and the preparation for this show. Mm-hmm. But I've got first champions, last champions, and or memorable champions. Where do you want to start with?
I guess let's maybe start with first and last. And
okay.
Go from there, yeah.
Perfect. So I'm going to do this in two chunks. I've got the ECW traditional, and then I've got the WWE ECW first and last as well.
Yeah.
So the first ever champion that we're acknowledging on this show, as well as, this is the champion that WWE acknowledges in their record books, is Shane Douglas. And the match took place on March 26, 1994. It was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, obviously the ECW arena. And it was a 6-man, I think it was all Jeopardy, or it was some kind of
Jeopardy match.
Jeopardy match of some kind. And it included Terry Funk, Kevin Sullivan, the Tasmaniac, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Because that's Taz, but not
early.
Yeah, you know what I mean? When he still had the Tasmaniac gimmick. Hawk, and then Public Enemy. And now, is that Hawk and Animal?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But it definitely could be. Because, I mean, at that point, he probably would have
traveled around a little bit, yeah.
Exactly, and been out of the WWE at that point.
Yeah, that's quite possible.
I can't remember where Hawk and Animal were in 94, so that's why if I don't know, I mean, let me know in the comments.
Yeah, no, it definitely could have been him.
Yeah. So yeah, he was the first champion. We might as well get into it now. I mean, we opened our show, obviously if you listen to the beginning of the show, we opened with Shane Douglas cutting a promo. And this was that night. This was March 26, 1994. Shane Douglas was the winner of the match. It was a kind of a weird match in the sense that it was a 4-on-4, but whatever member of each team got the pin was the champion. Yeah. So super strange. Yeah. Not something I think we'll ever see again.
Yeah, no.
Probably not. But unique, I guess. And the significance of it was the promo that Shane Douglas cut at the end, because he had won the NWA championship. And at the time, I think this was referred to as Eastern Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
And it was a part of the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
So he had won the 10 pounds of gold, the belt that we all know as the NWA Championship, and essentially talked about all the legends. I'll just give you an elevator pitch. Mm-hmm. If you want, go look up the video online. We just didn't want to post the whole thing. And it just kind of talking about the champions throughout the years, and yeah.
Yeah, that promo is amazing. Anybody who's listening, if you don't already know of it, definitely go check it out.
Oh, yeah. So he basically, like I said, he talks about all the champions of over the years, and then he basically grabs the belt. And I don't know if he says, I don't care, or if it's useless, but he throws the belt on the ground, and he's like, I'm not going to fight, essentially, for a belt for a company that has been dead for 7 years. Yeah. And I get what he's saying. He's basically saying that, why are we using this championship title for a company that isn't even in existence anymore, nor has it been for 7+ years?
Yeah.
So I get it. So he drops it on the ground, he goes outside, he grabs another belt, which is, you can see if you're watching on YouTube, you can see on the top left is the first ECW championship. Maybe I'll post some of those on our Twitter and Instagram as well. But so that was the belt that he came in with, and he basically said this is Eastern Championship Wrestling. I don't think they had used Extreme yet. That was kind of in the weeks to come.
Yeah.
Soon, like, in the closer weeks to come. But yeah, he basically said this is now Eastern Championship Wrestling, and he kind of took over from there, and that basically was the original starting of what we now know as the ECW Championship.
Yeah. Crazy, man, that Shane Douglas, was the guy to do all that. Really a key player, man, in looking up facts and stuff. Really a huge key player in the original ECW, and a good wrestler, a huge guy as far as like the championship's concerned too. I think he has a lot of meaning. When I think of that belt now, I'm gonna definitely be thinking of him in the future.
Oh, hell yeah. And I mean, we both pointed it out. Shout out to Lex.
Yeah.
And the US Championship LookBack Show is coming full circle, and Shane Douglas being the next Lex Express, as I like to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first champion, and the title belt ran all the way until 2001, when Rhino won the championship in New York. New York. Shout out my boy Frank Sinatra. I'm going to try and get that in on every show. On January 7, 2001, like I said. He defeated the Sandman.
Yep.
And this was the last time that the ECW championship was defended in ECW.
Yeah.
Because essentially after this, the title was discontinued. It was brought into WWE and no longer defended under the WWE banner.
Yeah.
Which small tangent.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that, in the sense that sorry that if I pause there, guys, it's that the shot of Taz with the arms crossed is on the screen as we speak. But WCW's championships were defended in WWE when the merger first happened, no?
Yep.
So did you find it weird that this championship wasn't defended in WWE the same way WCW was, or was ECW a small enough company that it didn't make sense?
Yeah, and especially, so at the time I didn't know as much about it. I knew of ECW, but I didn't know as much. And yeah, it was smaller because you have to remember the WCW aspect was already involved for a little bit, because we had the whole,
Invasion.
Shane McMahon invasion stuff, and they were there for a few months before ECW came into the fold.
Yeah.
So the WCW guys, they were already kind of like feeding them in, and the ECW guys came afterwards.
Yeah, so I guess that does make more sense.
But now that you say it, I do remember, and back at that time, Paul Heyman, it was big with him on commentary with JR, and he would always, because Rhino was he was pushed pretty well when he first came into the WWEF brand.
Yeah.
And they would always acknowledge, the last active ECW champion, Rhino, the man beast. Like Paul Heyman always threw that out there.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that.
So that was definitely something that they wanted to get across to everybody, like, hey, this guy was a champion.
Yeah.
In ECW, and probably would have been multiple or long term if the company had continued, because that was his first championship title reign.
I like to cross over into that now just a little bit.
Yeah.
And give some love to Rhino, because man, I think that he could have been so much more if the company was going on, because the way they were pushing him, man, it seemed like he was like their Goldberg, like their
with
answer
the gore
to Goldberg, and he was going on a streak, like he rarely lost. And if he did lose, it was like a dirty kind of,
I know I say
victory.
this all the time, but I want to go back and watch some.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Definitely look back worthy.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so those were the two. I mean, we can talk about more stuff in between. I just figured it would be good to talk about the first person and the last person since they kind of bookend the championship. But the title was, like we talked about, gone from 2001 up until around 2006.
Long time.
Yeah.
Felt like.
So I'm actually reading here now. WWE purchased the assets for ECW in 2003. So I guess they had bought it out or finished it in 2001. ECW closed on April 4th, 2001, and World Wrestling Entertainment purchased the assets in 2003. So it is a couple years later, I guess, whatever that took. I don't know. But in 2005, WWE did a ECW one-night stand event where they brought back all the original members of ECW, or at least a lot of them. And some WWE guys, I think, were on that show, or minimal.
Yeah, a few.
A few. I think they were up in the rafters and stuff too, right?
Yeah, there was definitely more of them on the second one. Like
yes,
the first one
I was going to get to.
Yeah.
For sure, because the second one, I mean, check it out. The LookBack Show. We did a lookback of that. It was one of our original lookbacks. Is on YouTube, and like I said, it will be on iTunes in the future. But with the first show, it was such a success that they figured, fuck, let's do this again. Let's have another ECW one night stand, and maybe let's introduce more of our own roster into there as well.
Yeah.
So that night we had Rob Van Dam fighting John Cena for the WWE Championship. As most people know, and if you watched our look back, Rob Van Dam captures the WWE Championship that night. The following night, I don't know if it was directly, it probably wasn't the following night, it was probably the Wednesday or the Thursday, whenever they filmed ECW. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Tell me to shut up if I'm going too
No.
long at any point here, Don. Basically, RVD was out in the crowd, and like I said, this was the first official taping of the ECW branded, Raw, SmackDown, ECW type show. And RVD's out there with the spinner John Cena belt, and the crowd's chanting "Throw it down!" And
yeah, I remember.
Like, it was bad.
Yeah.
Or you know what it was? It was reversed. I think Heyman came out first, and he had a belt in a black bag.
Yeah.
And then RVD came out down with him. And essentially, get down to the point, Heyman gives RVD the new ECW championship. He says, "You're now the ECW champion, and you can give back the WWE," or I don't know if he said give it back, but you don't need that. And RVD kind of said, well, and he's holding both belts, and he's got one on each shoulder. He's like, I want them both.
Yeah,
I'd like to have them both. Why not? And then Edge comes out, shakes his hand, whatever, gives him respect for half a second, and then spears him, and I guess that leads to
their feud,
which eventually led to RVD losing the WWE Championship, keeping the ECW Championship, and staying on the ECW brand.
Yeah, which eventually he loses that title to the Big Show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, which we'll get to.
An interesting fact here, though, I believe Rob Van Dam probably will go down in history as the only man to hold the WWE and the ECW title
at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think, unless we get another rendition of the ECW in 5 years from now, you're probably right, and I don't think that'll change.
Yeah, awesome.
And like you said, he lost it to Big Show, and he only held it for 21 days, so not very long.
Yeah.
Pretty short title reign.
Yeah.
And I think so he didn't have either one of those belts for very long, because I know he lost to Edge on a Monday Night Raw episode not long after that either.
Mr. 420, that's why.
Yeah. Oh.
That was a whole thing that happened, and that it's very unfortunate, because
they were finally giving him the he had grabbed the brass ring or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Metaphor. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And I've said it on 1,000 different shows, and I've always thought that when Van Dam first came in, he was someone who really had that star quality to him.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I don't think because I did watch this segment.
Yep.
Leading into the preparation for this show, I don't think, and I think this is obviously a known thing, but his mic skills weren't what I thought.
Oh yeah, no.
Or at least in that moment when I watched that segment, I was like, I can maybe see why they were skeptical.
Because of his mic?
Well, because it's WWE and it's not ECW. Like, no offense, I just mean you need to have the whole fucking package. You know what I mean? And if you can be a Miz type guy and kill the promos every fucking time and be at good enough in the ring, I think they would rather that than vice versa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very true, yeah.
So I don't know. That's something I noticed. But obviously we'll talk about some of the other champions in between. But the last champion, this was in 2010. Ezekiel Jackson wins the title from Christian, who we'll talk about as well later, one of the longest ECW champions, on February 26, 2010. And there wasn't much in my research, at least. There wasn't much I could find with why ECW was going out of business, aside from, I guess, financial issues with, keeping the brand up and also making money at the same time. But essentially, Ezekiel Jackson won the belt from Christian at the end of, I don't know if it was a pay-per-view or if it was an ECW show.
It was just a ECW show.
Yeah, it was. It was at Kansas City, Missouri. And on, like I said, February 26th. I guess it was the 16th, and then it aired on the 26th. You know what I mean? What was the point of this? Because Ezekiel Jackson won the belt, and then they discontinued the brand immediately, basically when the bell rang, because he's written down and quoted as being champion for a few minutes. I don't know
2 minutes.
I don't know
if that.
Like in my research, I found a few minutes. So I'm not sure. What do you think?
Well, I think, it's very interesting that they went with him, but I guess looking back now, I feel like they were going to push him and they wanted him to, come in strong on the other side of the table because he was going over to SmackDown, Raw, whatever.
So whenever ECW was done, they wanted to make sure this guy was built up to be something.
Yeah, because he was still very new at the time. He was kind of William Regal's heater, actually. And
you had mentioned that to me prior to recording. You said Christian and William were kind of in a bit of a feud, and William used Ezekiel to get at Christian. Yeah,
Christian and Regal had a feud for that silver ECW title for a few months.
That's so random.
Yeah, those two, right?
Just to picture those two fighting for the ECW championship.
Yeah, right.
Which we have to accept, and we have to and let the listeners know too that we understand. As much as the lineage is the same, these are two completely different fucking titles.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It might be the same lineage, but it's not really.
Yeah, apples and oranges.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no. So they were feuding, and Ezekiel was kind of in the corner of Regal, and I think who else? I think Vladimir Kozlov as well. Anyway, so this ended up with Regal. He couldn't beat Christian. Like he never really beat him. Christian always kind of got the better of him, and eventually Ezekiel Jackson came into the fold, and Regal was kind of giving him the.
Yeah. No, and I'm happy you're giving me all this context and backstory because these are theories I was coming up with while I was taking my notes. I was like, I wonder if he won a bet or if he won something backstage, and they're like, all right, well, yeah, you can be the last champion. You know what I mean? You won the company football pool, so you can, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like some kind of bet. That probably not. I just thought it would be funny because to me, it's so random.
It is. It's very random.
But what you're saying makes a lot more sense than my theory.
The credit I'll give them is that at least it was an Extreme Rules match. Because 9 times out of 10 with this title, it was not traditional, Taz Bam Bam Bigelow style shit.
In the background right now.
It was a normal wrestling match.
Yeah. That's weird to me. I didn't realize that.
That's why this brand... I think that's what ultimately led to the downfall of the WWE version is that it was nowhere near what it used to be.
It was just another brand. It was the ECW name,
which was so
makes
they
no
might
sense.
As well have called it Eastern at that point in time. You know what I mean? Like,
well, they did, and I don't know. I guess we can get into this now quickly, but they did when they got rid of ECW.
Yeah,
it turned into NXT. That's what they swapped it out for.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Eventually, yeah.
It turned into the reality show version or whatever that was. You know what I mean? The game show. I never saw that, but Daniel Bryan doing the obstacle course.
I remember bits of that. Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of where that ended. Do you want me to give you kind of my personal list of memorable and maybe not so memorable champions?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Get into some of your stuff after. All right. What do we got here?
I'm excited for this.
You want me to start with non or memorable?
Yeah, let's go non.
Non-memorable?
Keep it fun.
Okay, so number 1 on the list, I have Vince McMahon. Not because it wasn't actually memorable. Yeah. I mean, I remember it, but I don't know. I don't have words. The non-memorable is more of a bad run or a non-memorable in the sense that it wasn't, help me out here. It was memorable, but it wasn't something that sticks out to you as a good thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I can talk about that in different guys who've even held the ECW title, too.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I'm going to say Vince McMahon, and I got in brackets here, do-rag.
I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you for bringing up the do-rag. Because when I think of him in that title, just that black tracksuit and the fucking do-rag.
The do-rag. I think there was times where he was wearing a suit and a do-rag.
Yep, and a hat.
And a hat.
Yeah, maybe a hat.
I don't remember the
times,
hat.
Yeah.
Was that around the same time he dropped the N-bomb? Probably not.
Oh, fuck. Jesus
With
Christ.
Booker T. And no, I think that was a little bit later. Or maybe earlier. I don't know. Either way, Vince is a crazy motherfucker.
Oh, my God. Vince McMahon. Yeah.
Number 2, and I don't think you're going to be very happy about this one. Number 2 for me was RVD.
Really?
Yeah, because it's honestly 2 reasons. One is the 21 days as champion.
Yeah.
Doesn't stick out to me. And 2 is I couldn't fucking believe that this is the first time he won the belt.
Yeah, you probably did. You just discover that in the findings?
I did. Yeah, and it shocked the hell out of me because it's like, really? This guy, and he was over as fuck in the actual company. Mm-hmm. So when I say it's not memorable, again, this doesn't mean, this guy had a shitty title run.
Yeah.
It just means it's memorable that this was his, it's non, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I think non-memorable was the wrong way to title this segment, but it's just maybe
least favorites.
Yeah, that maybe works in a little bit better, but I don't know. I was surprised that RVD didn't hold that title for so long and that it was his first time, especially because like the ECW is synonymous with ECW.
Yeah.
You think RVD and you're going to think ECW.
Yep.
Even me as a kid, I knew that. And I had seen, WWF, WWE, RVD at that point.
Yeah.
But continuing on, I think this might be the worst one on the list. Kane. Because...
Oh, jeez. I forgot about that until you said it.
Well, yeah, because in my research, what I'm finding is Kane was the ECW champion, but was never on the ECW brand. Mm-hmm. So he won the belt, took it over to SmackDown, and then they had no champion for what I can gather multiple months. Like it was 2 to 3 months that ECW did not have a world champion because Kane was on SmackDown. So that just seems fucking crazy to me. Any thoughts on Kane?
Yeah, fuck. He had he might have had the other version. Yeah, because I remember him and Chavo feuding, actually.
He won it at WrestleMania.
From Chavo?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So
I honestly forgot he had it until you brought it up.
Yeah.
I was thinking he had the silver version, but no, he had the same one that Bobby Lashley and Vince McMahon held.
Exactly, yeah. So it says it right here, quote, Kane was a member of the SmackDown brand at the time when he won the title, making the title exclusive to SmackDown. The title was returned to ECW when Kane defected to the ECW brand 2 days later. Oh, okay. So I didn't realize that. Okay. So at least he went back to ECW. That's good to know. And then that led to Mr. Mark Henry winning the ECW championship. Mm-hmm. And I believe, yes, that was when we got our big silver belt.
That belt is massive. Like, have you seen it on other guys?
I've seen it on Matt Hardy.
It's awkward.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate you. No, you're right. I don't.
As far as like aesthetically looking,
yeah,
it's not like the worst.
There's definitely been worse. Yeah,
oh yeah. Like like there's definitely been worse titles than that one. But maybe talk a bit. I just want to see quickly.
Yeah. Well, when I think about the reason that people hate on that belt so much, I think it's more because it's not even that it's that bad. You're right, because I aesthetically don't think it looks that bad, but I think the hardcore diehard ECW guys are so used to the classic looking one, the one that we've seen with
Taz and the one that Heyman gave to RVD in that segment, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I did want to clarify because I just wanted to make sure before we move on to my other 2 non-memorable or least favorite, whatever you want to call it. So Kane, he defected to ECW, but then was drafted to Raw. So then the belt went from ECW over to Raw.
Okay.
And then this was when Mark Henry got the title back because it was a triple threat match between Mark Henry, Big Show, and I'm assuming Kane. Mm-hmm. And Mark Henry won the ECW championship. And then the next night on Monday Night Raw, we had Teddy Long in the ring. It might have been Raw or no, it was ECW. What am I saying? Yeah. It was ECW branded show. So we had, Paul Heyman out there, or not Paul Heyman, Jesus. Teddy Long was out there, and he called Mark Henry to the ring, and we had they didn't even have it under a cloth or anything.
It was just out there.
Yeah, because I watched this segment as well, again, to prepare for the show. They had it just out. It was on a table, this new big ECW championship. Mark Henry walked out with Tony Atlas, who I never knew worked with Mark Henry. I never knew they were a thing together. Mm. But again, I didn't really watch in 08, 09. Yeah. So, this was 2008. So he basically just said, you're the new ECW champion, and then that's, when the belt stayed on ECW from that point on. Jesus.
I also feel like them changing it was kind of like a fuck you at the same time.
To ECW?
Yeah, because being like, well, this is ours now, and we're going to make it ours, so we're going to change the look of yours completely. Like, because although the Bobby Lashley version of the belt and the, older original ECW belt, there's slight differences between them.
Oh, yeah.
They're very similar,
but
there's
I know what you're saying.
Tiny differences.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they wanted to get rid of that look completely.
And
so
have
they're
it be their own.
Yeah.
And the belt, I got to be honest, like I love that original belt, but it didn't have the WWE 2008 vibes.
Yeah, exactly.
It did stand out from all the other championships in WWE. Yeah, I mean, and it would even more currently.
Yeah.
Nowadays with the big WWE logos. But, okay, so the only other two, again, you're not going to be happy with this one, but Rhino. And it was,
really?
Again, because I was shocked that this was his only title win. I couldn't believe that they waited this long or whatever to give him the title. But, and I'm only talking about it now because you didn't get into it, or not that you didn't get into it, but you said you wanted to save some of it. Or not, I'm all over the place tonight. No. Sorry, guys. You talked about how they were pushing him at the time, and then the company kind of went away right at the time he was getting pushed. So maybe that, I didn't know that. So me talking to you here, maybe we'll take him off my list, maybe not. But that was my reasoning was, oh shit, this was the first time he won the title, and then he never he probably defended it once or twice, whatever. But it wasn't like it continued on from here.
Yeah.
And the final one is Ezekiel Jackson, which I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you've been listening to the first 31 minutes of the show.
Yeah, sorry, Ezekiel. Because, I don't know, me personally, man, not just because I'm a big fan of Christian and Canadian as well. Yeah. But, I think Christian would have been a nice way to end it. Because at least you can go back to the Christian was he could get hardcore, you know what I mean? At least he's someone I could be like, I think even the original fans would be like, yeah, okay, Christian, we're cool with that. Yeah. We're okay with that. Or even if it ended with a Matt Hardy, you know what I mean? But Ezekiel, and then the fact that he didn't really amount to anything doesn't help.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't help. Does not help. What did he, I guess he won an IC belt in WWE and that was kind of it. Yeah,
and it wasn't too, it wasn't really much. He was like a transitional guy until Cody Rhodes got the belt. You know what I mean?
So. Not that says anything about Cody. I just mean
No.
It sucks because like you said, if you're going to give this guy a championship and I don't know. Yeah. It would have looked a lot better, like you said, if he amounted to maybe a little bit more. Whether that was his fault or not, I have no idea. But you're not wrong.
He wasn't the greatest, but he wasn't the worst. I feel like physically, he looked really good, and that's probably what they seen.
For sure. And, especially at that time, 2008, right? That was kind of, the end of the John Laurinaitis era, as they call it.
Oh, yeah.
And then I guess I'll give you my memorable ones, and then we can get into some other stuff after that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so my memorable ones, I'll slide through them pretty quickly. Shane Douglas, obviously, after that promo to start our show and the talks we've had about him. Shout out to the Sandman.
Yeah. Is he on that list?
Oh, fuck yeah, he's on that list. Yeah. You know why he's on that list?
He's insane.
Because he's number one. He's won that belt 5 times.
5 times.
5 times.
The most.
Yes, the most. Second to Shane Douglas at 4.
Yeah.
Who else is on my list? Taz, obviously. That's just because I'm a huge Taz fan. And like I said, when I think of ECW, he's one of the guys that I picture when I think of ECW.
That was what was up with the orange mic.
Yeah. Oh.
No, it wasn't, but it just kind of works.
Check out the picture on Instagram. Don's got himself a new little cover on the mic today. And he gave me the okay while I said Taz, too, because I know you guys couldn't hear that.
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah.
But I got Raven.
Fuck yes.
Raven's on there, and I haven't seen a lot of Raven, but with having 2 title reigns and 2 title reigns being tied for, third most, I thought that was pretty cool. Plus, Raven is also another guy that I associate with ECW.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. He'll get some love.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll be getting into Raven later, for sure. My next one, again, I don't know if you're going to like this one too much or maybe just be surprised by it, but Bobby Lashley.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think maybe that might affect me a little bit more than somebody else just because I watched that Bobby Lashley ECW championship run.
Yeah.
I remember him holding that belt. I remember the whole Trump and Vince and all that stuff in him with the ECW, which I think he was the champion at the time, no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was, yeah.
So I think that's probably why I'm thinking of it. But at the same time, out of all the people that won it in the reincarnation, aside from maybe the next person that I'm going to say, he's the best. Or the highest, or it did the most, had the best career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the next guy, like I just said, Christian. Obviously, Christian's going to be on my list. He's the longest running ECW champion of the WWE version.
Yeah.
Got to give him his credit there. And then the final one, this one's just for you, Don, and it's just because you love him. Your boy, Don Morocco.
I thought it was CM Punk.
Oh, no. No, he didn't crack either list. He's kind of just a... But you know what? Maybe he should.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second.
Because
yeah.
I watched, and I talked to you about it before, that's why I said that. I watched that live.
Yeah.
I saw I remember when CM Punk broke into the business, and I remember we had our buddy AJ here for one of our pay-per-view that we watched a couple weeks back, and he was talking about how he liked CM Punk back in 2004.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Punk when he broke in and having that guy AJ show me him prior and me know who Punk was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, shout out to Punk, too, for definitely making his first introduction into WWE through the ECW brand, as well as Paul Heyman being the one to give him his shot. Because who knows if Punk even would have had the career that Punk had without this ECW brand. That might be the silver lining of the ECW reincarnation.
Punk?
Is Punk.
Yeah.
Because who knows?
Oh, yeah.
What would have happened if there was no Paul Heyman and there was no, lesser, quote-unquote, brand for Punk to thrive on. Sorry if I went on a
No.
Punk tangent.
It's okay, yeah. Shout out to Don Morocco, right?
Yeah. That was my last guy, but that's just because I know you like the name. And
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard like his run wasn't the best, because I think he was like more in the Eastern time. Like he won in the Eastern Championship. Yeah. But he was in the later part of his career too. Like, so I'm not gonna hold it against him. I love Don Morocco. Good guy.
Yeah, shout out to him. What was he on, the WrestleMania 1 LookBack show?
Oh yeah, he's on a few of our classic.
The big event, I think he might have been on that too.
Yep.
Was he on both?
Yep, he was. Yeah.
Shout out to him. Go check out those.
Not one, sorry. He was definitely on the big event though. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Go check it out on iTunes at PW LookBack.
But speaking about Punk and these guys, I want to just give some love to some people who had decent reigns or reigns in general that I'm going to acknowledge and might not be on my list of guys to really talk about.
Okay.
Super memorable.
So are we going to get into the list soon, and this is kind of the honorable mention?
Yeah. So definitely I think Punk falls into that category.
For sure.
And I don't want to give too much away in saying, Punk's not on my list and this and that. But an interesting thing about it is I know him and John there was a tournament, right? And it was him and, it was Johnny Nitro. It wasn't John Morrison. And they were
that's what I remember is Johnny Nitro and
Yeah.
Joey Mercury, because I watched the tag team live.
Yeah, and they were the finalists
of
in
that
this tournament. But I don't know if you know this, and it might be a little known fact to people unless they were watching or really read into shit, but man, and it's kind of eerie and weird to think about too, but I think Chris Benoit was supposed to be the ECW champion.
The first one.
The rebranded champion.
Really?
The pay-per-view where Johnny wins, he was launched in. Punk was supposed to fight Benoit, and Benoit didn't show up, and that's the night that he doesn't show up for the pay-per-view.
Oh.
So it's wild. And I've heard things in readings and videos that they were going to put Benoit on this brand to have him kind of
be the I know what you mean.
The senior, to work with some of these younger guys and be the champion, be
the centerpiece. Or
somebody who could, give recognition, a wrestler who could give credibility maybe, more credibility. So interesting little, tidbit I want to throw in there.
No, for sure. And I think me and you have talked about that in the past off pod, but it is super interesting. Again, one of those things where it's what could have been, what would have been if different scenarios, obviously different circumstances would have happened with Benoit. But yeah. Is there any other stuff? Because I don't want to rush you along. If there's anything you want to get into before we get to the Don list, the list of Don.
Well. I also want to give love to Tommy Dreamer, man, because Tommy Dreamer, unfortunately, guys, womp, does not crack my top 10 tonight.
Wow.
But I'll tell you why. I'll get into the nitty-gritty right now about it. Because, so Tommy Dreamer in the original ECW, he won the title once as well.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. It's crazy because some of these guys like him, Van Dam, these guys you think of
Raven.
ECW. Yeah, and
maybe
they
not
don't
Raven.
have
Yeah.
a lot of title reigns or memorable ones necessarily.
Sabu.
Yeah. So Tommy Dreamer falls into that category, but the cool thing I got to say about Tommy Dreamer and why I want to give him love, obviously, because when you say ECW, you think of a guy like Dreamer, for sure.
For sure.
Like,
I don't want to... I have it written down here that he won it twice. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I'd continue. I don't want to get you off
once
track.
in the ECW brand, once in the WWE brand. Yeah.
Okay. So that's why. Gotcha.
So, and I want to give also, like, they definitely give them credit to the WWE for giving him that time in the WWE bubble to hold it. And he definitely, it wasn't an amazing run, but he had a better run over there. I actually remember one, well, just because he had it longer.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a little more active, like able to, do more. Definitely not physically as good as he was back then, but still able to carry it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one championship scramble match on like a DVD I have, and it was like him and some of those guys, Mark Henry's, the Matt Hardys.
I was just gonna get in, like interject into that, because that was how Matt Hardy won it from Mark Henry. That was a championship scramble on September 7th, 2008 at Unforgiven in Cleveland, Ohio. And it included Finlay, The Miz, Chavo Guerrero, Mark Henry. I guess that was it.
5. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I fucking hate that match.
Why? Yeah, I don't want to dive down a championship scramble hole, but that's interesting because I love them.
Maybe it's because the first time I ever saw what it was in a video game, and I'm sorry, that match does not work in a video game.
I made it work a few times. But no, it's okay.
I just mean like you
got to make them super long. That's the key.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you must have to, because you can't get that many pins in.
Oh, not in like 10 minutes.
No, you know how many times, and not in the video games, but
you got to go Iron Man. I
think it's weird of a match personally, but like you said, I don't know if we should get down too deep on the.
Let just keep a note of that. Let's talk. I want to talk about that after.
Maybe roundtable.
Yeah.
We could talk about it on the roundtable as well.
Nice. So yeah,
check out the roundtable, weekly pro wrestling talk show from the Pro Wrestling LookBack Podcast
at Pro Wrestling LookBack.
Yes, and we're going to be introing more other stuff than just wrestling on that show. So. Stay tuned.
I want to take a quick second to give love to the boy Mikey Whipwreck as well.
Yes, Mikey.
Because, won the ECW title in the original ECW at 22 years of age, being the youngest ECW. Oh my God! Yeah, no, exactly. Right?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Don.
No, it's good. It's all good when it's Joey. So yeah, man, Mikey Whipwreck, got to give love because he was like a real underdog character. Yeah. A guy who, leading into the time beforehand, like he was really a job guy for like a good year.
Yeah,
like it's not like he was a smaller looking dude. He wasn't like
little. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's a small little fucking guy.
But he could go. He could definitely go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Mikey,
youngest ECW champ.
Yeah, and I think he was. This is a random stat, but I think he was the lightest too. I seen that somewhere.
Yeah, I believe so.
I seen that stat somewhere as well. So that's pretty cool.
Another one I'll get into for a quick sec. Just Incredible.
Really?
Yeah. And not in a good way, though. So, you know what I mean? Not in a good way. Not necessarily in a good way. Just Incredible, like, in my research here, because I had to do a lot of research, too. Like, I know certain things about ECW, but, like, again, I wanted to make this list, fair, accurate, and also with my view, and also something that I feel like the true ECW originals would be proud of,
Yeah.
But Just Incredible, man. Like, yeah, although he had a lengthy title reign, like, apparently nobody was a fan at all. Like, nobody was into this reign. It was at a time when the company was kind of going downhill.
Like, right before kind of thing? Like,
yeah, and I think Taz might have still been around, and he was, like, there was guys that could have been the champ, but, like, they went with Just Incredible because they needed, like, a heel transitional guy, but he ended up having the title for so long.
I was just about to say, because I'm getting the stats as we go here. It looks like he won it on April 22nd, 2000 at CyberSlam.
Yep.
And he had it for 162 days. And just to note on your Tommy Dreamer talk,
yep,
that's the same night that Tommy Dreamer won the belt, and it looks like Tommy Dreamer lost the belt in the same fucking night.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have it long.
Yeah, because there's no comments or anything, but it's showing obviously the same date, same pay-per-view, and him having it for no nights, and then, yeah, Just Incredible for 162 days.
Yeah.
Wild.
But nobody was really a fan, like, of it. Van Damme was said to be, like, the most popular guy in the company at the time, but he was, like, tied up with other things.
Sabu and shit?
Scotty Anton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A newbie at the time.
Okay.
I don't know too much about Scotty, but that's what Van Damme was up to.
And you were right. This was nearing the end of, the champions, because we had Jerry Lynn, Steve Corino, Sandman, and then Rhino, as we talked about, were the only other champions leading into the end of this belt in January 7th, 2001. So not far from April 22nd, 2000.
So, just incredible. We'll talk about him. He was there.
For sure.
But I like the segue because shout out to Jerry Lynn on his title reign as well.
Yeah.
He didn't have the belt for super long, but it wasn't really the greatest mic guy either, but definitely like a credible in-ring worker. And anybody who's listening to this show who is like an ECW fan, I'm sure you've seen Van Dam and Jerry Lynn, but if not, go check out some Van Dam, Jerry Lynn shit. Because Jerry Lynn started calling himself the new whole effing show. Like that was it. He kind of was ripping off Van Dam. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I know Jack Swagger held the ECW title.
Yes, he did. The newer one, right?
Yeah,
the WWE silver one we talked about.
Interesting guy to hold the ECW title. Matt Hardy. Shout out to Matt Hardy. Vince McMahon. He was the oldest champion, but definitely not one that I want to.
No. And shout out to that picture of Matt Hardy and Jeff, because that's all I think about when I see.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
true.
Is whenever I think of Matt Hardy with that ECW title, I think of that picture of Jeff and Matt with, respective championships over their back. I wish that could be a world heavyweight title for Matt and Jeff have the WWE, but it's still recognized as a top title and a top brand in the top company. So maybe not the top brand, but you know what I mean. A brand in the top company. So
good on Matt.
Certainly a big achievement.
No, for sure, definitely. But yeah, I feel like I've got a lot, from you, from me, and it might be time to get into that list, that top 10 list.
Time for Donovan's list. Like I said last time on the show, we're gonna get a jingle.
Yeah, eventually.
We're just trying to. We want to make sure it's perfect.
Yeah.
This is the stuff. The juice of the episode is us talking to each other, and the jingles is just the whipped cream. So
yeah, exactly.
Let me. Not that you drink juice with whipped cream on it, but you know what I'm saying.
If that's your thing.
Fair enough. Yeah, you never know.
Are you ready for this?
I think I am. Like I said, I wish I had more of a jingle for you, but I here. I'll give you no. Let's give you one more ring bell. Let's do this, Don.
So clocking in at number 10. Nick, I can't wait to hear from you for this one.
Yeah, now this is fun for me because I just get to sit back and listen and talk now.
The whole effing show, Rob Van Dam. He is number 10 on my list of ECW top 10 champions.
Donovan's list of ECW top champions.
So would you not put him on a top 10?
I might not. No. Yeah, okay. Maybe I would because of the beating John Cena at ECW One Night Stand, and that's a pretty big moment.
Yeah.
But I'll put it to you this way. If we're going without the rebrand, then no. I would put him in a top, but because he never won.
True.
You know what I mean? I would put him in the top 10 wrestlers in the company, but if we're talking original, and I know we're talking about everything, but if you never won the title in the original ECW, in my opinion, then you might not be able to crack that top 10. In my own personal,
no.
And that's very vague too, right? Because guys like Christian, like you could be in there in RVD too, and even maybe a Raven, right? Who did win it back then, but yeah, I don't know, certainly not a bad pick, and somebody who's worthy and warrants being there.
Well, it was funny because in hearing you talk about Van Dam and Cena and everything a little earlier on the show, a lot of the stuff you were saying were most of my reasons for giving him that top 10 spot because, like you said, he's a guy that when I think of ECW, he's one of those guys that I think of.
Yeah, like a Taz, like a Sabu.
And I think the fact that he won, having the WWE, even though it wasn't that long, but having the WWE and the ECW belt being on that standalone list too definitely was a little edge because I'll tell you the truth. I'm not the spoiler alert, guys, but it was a close tie for who. Like Van Dam almost didn't make my list.
Who?
It might have been Christian.
Okay.
It might have been Dreamer. Like there was this top 10 spot was really hard for me.
For sure.
When it got to the other stuff, it got difficult, but it was hard because
fitting that final spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you started with one and made your way down.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, no, and I think the WWE Championship stuff, and maybe this is again just my own personal opinion, but I don't know if it was because I watched that clip and I could just really see the fans were not about it. But to me, it seemed like he was doing something that the fans didn't want him to do.
What do you mean? Like keeping both?
Keeping the WWE Championship. And maybe that's just my bias from watching that one segment of the Markskis of Markskis chanting at him to drop the title, throw it down. It seemed, and I know it wasn't, but it seemed like he was kind of trying to be a heel, especially when he spun it. Because he turns to Heyman and he's like, look, it spins.
He looks stoned as fuck, by the way.
And I didn't really pick up on that.
Go back and check, honestly.
I will. He probably was. And he spins it. And it's not that I didn't like it. It's just like, to me, that's something you would do to get the crowd to boo you. You like this title. Meanwhile, this crowd fucking hates the man who created that version of the title. So it just didn't, it was awkward for me, but
I think he was trying to mock him.
Was he though? But why did he want to keep it? Because he's the WWE champion?
He's just like...
Do you know what I mean?
Van Dam is like... That was a lot of his character and how he kind of turned, though. He was a very cocky... Like, he was a heel and a very cocky, I'm better than you, look at everything I can do.
It just, to me, it seemed like any other person...
Yeah.
If they were in the same scenario and it was an ECW original, they would have dropped that belt like that.
Yeah.
And it would just seem to me, and if you would have asked me going into that, is Van Dam going to throw the WWE? If you told me how it was going to work out, and then you asked me, is he going to throw the belt on the ground? I would have said, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was awkward that he didn't.
Yeah,
but I don't want to get hung up on these little...
No. I like it. It's a good convo here we're having.
For sure.
I want to hear your opinion on it too, for sure. Another reason being that he gets that number 10 spot, I'll say, is just that, like you said earlier, man, you took the words out of my mouth, like finally winning it. The fact that he finally got it too, it was a big moment because he's someone who I feel like he had a fucking amazingly long reign with that TV title, some crazy number. Sorry, you guys, that I don't have it here.
With the ECW TV title?
Yeah, and like he had to, like he got injured or something. He didn't even lose it. Like an amazing reign with that. And I know that like that's more what he was doing during the time of the original stuff, but the fact that Van Dam finally got it, it was good that he was the first guy to get it who was an original in, you know what I mean, in this WWE era, for them to bring it back and have it be on a guy like Van Dam. Like it's a good thing it wasn't, Big Show or whoever the fuck.
That I couldn't agree with more. And I just went and checked your TV title thing. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had it for 700 days combined.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I think his first title reign was April 4th, 98, and he had it for that alone was, almost 2 years. So that's wild. Yeah, I didn't know that, so I just wanted to look that up quick, but that's crazy. 700 days combined as TV champion. Yeah,
so Rob Van Dam, man.
Number 10. Who's number 9?
Number 9. Okay, so this will be an interesting one here. Masato Tanaka gets number 9.
Explain this gentleman to me, because I came across this name quite a bit in my research, and I'm not too familiar with. So
I want to say another tough one. I gotta say, I'm gonna probably say this 1,000 times on the show, but picking all these were so hard, man, because there's so many guys like this who, there's guys you think of and they should maybe. You think they'll be up there, but they're not as great with their title reigns. But no, Tanaka, man, huge part of ECW. He was a Japanese wrestler.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar. I just can't picture him.
Brought in, and he had an amazing feud with Mike Awesome. And the reason that he gets this spot, to me, is because when he actually, he didn't hold the belt long. I think he had it like a week.
Oh, really?
He didn't have it super long. But the fact that he was the guy to get it, during this, they had a blood feud, very, crazy, insane matches. And I'm sure there's probably something on this DVD, and anybody who knows of the original stuff knows what I'm talking about. Like some of the wars that these guys had, and Mike Awesome being a massive dude and an awesome fucking, no pun intended, heel. Having Tanaka finally get the belt off of him, it was a big moment in ECW history.
To the ECW fans and the diehards, I know what you're saying. So
that's why he gets that number 9 spot. So
shout out to Tanaka.
Yeah,
number 9. Sorry if I didn't have too much to say about him.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I had to do a lot of digging into.
Sorry, shout out to the Dudley Boys, because holy fuck, this shit that's going on in the background right now for us.
I think that's Balls Mahoney.
Yeah, they just put him through the flaming table. But number 8.
Number 8. Oh, here we go. I know someone's going to love this if he's listening that's younger, because it is your boy Sandman coming in at number 8. Yeah.
I wish I had the music playing right now. I quit smoking 2 years ago, but I need to get a smoke in my mouth.
And a beer.
And crack it over my head and a kendo stick when we do this segment, because that's awesome. Yeah, Sandman, we talked about how he kind of just goes out there and does his thing, I guess. Like, he doesn't seem too choreographed, if that's the word you want to use.
So, like, yeah, man. Apparently, like, I know as a fan that, you know, he wasn't the best, like, wrestler technically or whatever, but as a character, he's fucking amazing.
Oh, hell yeah.
And, like...
And the fans related to him, right?
Yeah, very much so.
You want to talk about an everyman.
Yeah.
Fuck Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
This is an everyman. I'm sorry.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, man, the Sandman, another one of those guys. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this well, but when you say ECW, doesn't he not pop into your head?
There is a collection.
There's a collection
of those.
The Tazes, the Dreamers, the Van Dams, the Sandmans, the Sabus, maybe.
It says something about the difference between ECW and WCW, because when you say WCW, every name that's going to pop up in your head was already a star in WWE first.
Yeah.
So it kind of shows you why, you know, people still look at ECW the way they do, because they fucking built stars.
Yeah.
Something that WCW, aside from some cruiserweights, you know,
and I think this is the best time for me to get this in there too. And that's so much of a credit to Paul Heyman, and especially when you're looking at a guy like the Sandman. Everyone always gives so much credit to Paul as for, you know, he knew how to find people's strengths and hide their weaknesses. Yeah. That was what he did. So Sandman, man, like five title reigns, the most reigns in ECW history. And I want to ask you, because we talked about this on the U.S. title show, and we talked about, you know, a title with a person not having, you know, 11 reigns, 12 reigns. Totally. Do you like this?
Oh, I totally do. This one makes more sense as to why there isn't so many, because of the gaps in time that we haven't had an ECW championship. Yeah. Instead of the United States that's been around the whole time and still only has a 6-time or 5-time, whatever it was. Yeah. Multiple champion. I know what you're saying. I just think the gaps change my perception of it mattering as much. Okay. But I still prefer this.
Definitely, right?
Yeah, I would prefer every...
Oh, my God. I think this is the match that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that I had to cut this off. But this is that Mike Awesome Spike Dudley that I watched the VHS of. Like,
oh, that you talked about.
I think this is literally it. Guilty as charged. This is insane.
Wow, there you go.
Look at him. Is this that guy? Have you seen him before?
No, I haven't. And if anybody doesn't know, then, you know, go check this match out, like he just said.
Like, tell me this guy didn't have star fucking...
For sure. I mean... Pretty, yeah, he definitely did. But like I said, if anybody hasn't, go check out the Bloodsport ECW most violent matches, because that's what we got going on in the background right now.
Shout out to Younger and shout out to the Sandman at number 8.
Yeah, boy.
Lucky number 7. Who's it gonna be? Oh, he's a fucking legend, guys. Terry fucking Funk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Terry Funk. Not one of your favorites either, so it's, you know.
Not one of my favorites?
Yeah. You've never been a huge Terry Funk fan as far as I've known.
Yeah.
And not that we watched a lot of his stuff nowadays, but you know what I mean. I've never heard you mention his name too much, and for him to make your top 10, respect to Terry.
Yeah. That barbed wire match with him and Sabu, I guess I can talk a little bit about it off the top, right?
Yeah, sorry if I clipped your ears there, but that's basically how we felt. If you haven't seen, go back and watch this barbed wire match between Sabu and Terry Funk, because it might change the way you watch wrestling and or look at wrestling.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. A lot of blood and a lot of rip tights and garden gloves.
He was insane. And how old was Terry Funk? Was in his 50s at this time.
Oh, he had to have been.
That's unheard of. But guys, the main reason for me in looking at the list why Terry Funk cracks this spot for me is because not even so much for his title reign, but like, you know, his age at the time, 52, okay? 52 when he got the title.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he's 74 as of 2019, so he
came in,
That's
he
crazy to see that he was born in 1944.
Yeah, right?
That's wild.
Trust me. One day we're going to be those Terry Funks of the biz.
Fuck. That's true.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, man, Terry Funk, he was a guy who helped legit. Like earlier when I talked about what they were trying to do with Benoit.
Yes.
Terry Funk was very much this for ECW, and
original ECW.
Yeah, the original ECW. Because he was a part of Eastern Championship Wrestling, and people like, he would bring that hardcore element to it along with a guy like Sabu at the time. And they, like, Paul wanted him to be their guy to help legitimize it being a known name, too. Terry Funk, older, couldn't go as much as he could back in the day, but still a credible name that it's like, oh, Terry Funk's there. Maybe I'll check it out. So he helped really legitimize ECW.
Yeah.
And, like, at their first pay-per-view, like, I think right at the beginning, Paul Heyman gets a big promo and cuts it and gives love to Terry Funk, like on their very first pay-per-view.
Was it Barely Legal?
Barely Legal, yes.
Yeah. I think I've watched some of that on the network, that trippy Rogers on Demand. Shout out to Canada.
Yeah, Paul Heyman, he asked his employees to thank Terry Funk for everything he did for the industry, and yeah, amazing.
Wild. So yeah, shout out to Terry Funk, number 7.
Crazy, man. Terry fucking Funk, yeah.
I mean, we could talk a lot more about Terry and everything he's done outside of ECW, but
yeah, but
with this show, we're focusing on the ECW and the ECW Championship. So,
number 6.
Number 6.
The 6. Representing
maybe I should just get sounds like 6.
Or like Drake, like a Drake drop.
No, not on my show. Well, this is your show, kind of. So
no, I don't want a Drake drop. It's all good
if you want, but
I can't believe this.
Yeah.
Number 6, the suicidal, homicidal, genocidal Sabu.
Yes.
Motherfucking Sabu. Yes. So yes, guys, Sabu does crack Don's top 10.
As he should.
For
that match, the barbed wire match alone, he might be able to crack the top 10, man.
Maybe top 5.
Wild.
Oh, my God. Yeah, man. Extreme to the fucking core. Again, a name you think of when you think of ECW.
Yep.
I think Sabu, the reason in doing a lot of research for me, because I wasn't aware, like, that he was in and out of the company so much.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like, he had little stints. Like, he would come.
With what? Like New Japan or other companies?
Yeah.
Like smaller companies?
Yeah, and just fucking off. Dude.
Oh.
But every time
I knew that in the sense that he didn't get along with a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Like him and Taz have went through stages where they didn't fucking talk to each other, but then I've heard him on the Taz show before, so they've obviously squashed whatever was there. Anyway.
And Sabu's definitely an outspoken guy, I think, is like fans know of the business, right?
The shoot promos and stuff like that.
Yeah. But nonetheless, the fact that, man, this guy, he would do these little stints and come and go, but every time he'd come back, get the most fucking love. Like, this guy was over to a fucking another degree, I think.
We know why.
What?
Because he put it all on the line.
Yeah.
This guy put everything. He didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
There's people that were in car accidents that walked away in better condition than this motherfucker did in most of his matches.
Yeah.
Even the match that he had, and this wasn't for the title to talk about it now, but even the match that he had at ECW One Night Stand 2006 with Rey Mysterio.
Oh, that amazing spot.
That crazy through the table at the side of the ring. The table was propped up on the ring and the guardrail, and him going through that. He just gave it 150%. Like, I don't think for a second, in a Daniel Bryan kind of way.
Yeah.
Where I'll worry about this later.
Yeah.
When I'm icing it. Yeah. Not now.
No, definitely.
Which isn't always the best idea, but it provides you with some pretty fucking entertaining wrestling. And
it's crazy to think, man, because Sabu he's one of the guys. I don't know if anybody else did this, but I'm gonna have to fact check for you guys in a second. But he was in Eastern Championship Wrestling. He was in the ECW famous version,
and then he was also in the Reincarnation.
Yeah,
for a little while at least.
Yeah, but he was still in all versions. Because I don't even know. Well, the Sandman might have been in Eastern. No, I don't know though. He might have been in Eastern as well.
I'd have to look that.
It's a very small list, few and far between, of guys who actually did that.
Not to backtrack, but do we know if Terry Funk ever made an appearance on the rebrand?
No, I don't think he did.
No, okay.
I don't.
Because if he did, he would be in that category as well. That's why.
He might have been at a One Night Stand.
Yeah,
but
or a Shane Douglas, or did he always have kind of? I feel like I've never seen Shane Douglas's face on WWE television.
No, he was.
Or if he has, I just missed it.
Yeah, no, he was in WWEF in like the 90, like later
after they
90s.
bought it.
Like, I think when they were doing that cross promotion weird
when
thing,
Vince was giving them a little bit of money to kind of stay afloat, but also boring some of the superstars. I know what you're talking about.
But they he didn't do anything, and they changed his character over there, and they didn't do much with Mr. Douglas over there. And
unfortunately, maybe the same path as Mr. Lex.
A lot of fucking similarities. Hint, hint. Do you think he could be?
It's crazy. What, the same guy?
Do you think he could? Well, Lex, he was number 1.
Oh, shit. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Number 5. Well, we're looking right fucking at him. The Awesome before the Miz, Mike Awesome. Holy shit, man. I couldn't wait to get to this guy. I fucking love this guy, bro.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah.
The Awesome before the Miz.
That the real.
Is the line of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
This guy's the man, bro. I've been waiting. I've been dying to talk about him just because I didn't know if you knew who he was, and I feel like you'd like this guy. I
don't know much about him, but you're blowing my mind a little bit with
that he cracks the top 5?
No, just with the facts and all this.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't heard you talk a lot about Mike Awesome in the past in our off-pod conversations.
True, yeah.
So maybe that's why I'm more shocked about that then. But is it just me, or does he look like a combination of Brutus the Barber Beefcake and oh my God, Davey Boy Smith?
That's great.
If they were he could be their older brother.
Their fusion.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they're there to take a page out of Donovan's book from Dragon Ball Z. Their fusion is right there in Mike Awesome.
He's beating the fuck out of Spike Dudley in this match, by the way. How fair is that? How big is Mike Awesome?
Quite big
for the listeners.
But I mean, for
look at what he's.
Yeah, I mean, we have to preface for the listeners.
Sorry, man.
he just jumped off the top rope into the crowd.
A springboard off the top rope.
Yeah, I feel like this is turning into commentary.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. Like I said, just go watch the most violent matches of ECW. I don't know if you can find that on the network, but it's out there.
So,
talk a little bit more on him before we get to number 4?
Yeah, no. Mike Awesome, man. It's like a bittersweet love-hate relationship for me. And putting him in this, I put him in this spot because he was such a fucking amazing champion, and I feel like when he was the champ at this time, he was the guy. He really carried ECW for a while, and he had great matches, man, with guys the Spike Dudleys, and he did some shit with. I believe he did some shit with Jericho.
What about Taz or any of these other faces that are synonymous? We know Tommy Dreamer, and Sabu.
I'm an idiot here.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm totally I mentioned it earlier. The shit with fucking him and Tanaka was.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I mean, man. This guy, for a while, he was I feel like that ECW was big on having a heel champion long reign. That was the chase to be their thing. Yeah,
that's the best though. The chase, the Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
you know.
So yeah, man. I know people. He kind of just left though. He jumped ship to WCW eventually. That's what ended up happening.
I don't mean to bury him, but he looks like a guy that would be heading over to WCW.
Looks like one of those guys. He's taking the check over the.
Oh yeah, Bischoff got a glimpse of him and was like, "Hey, buddy, how do you like 6 figures or 7 figures instead of them 5 or 6 that you're getting over there in ECW?"
So yeah, man. I know he was there in the early '90s for a bit. He left for a bit. Came back, and then really 99, like I said earlier about that VHS, that's the VHS I remember. It was around early 2000s, 99, and he was just the guy, and I think he would have went on to be so much more too if he didn't just up and leave,
go to WCW and then die with the company,
because they treated him like a star. He was their champion, and he really did his thing.
Did he amount to much in WCW that you know of, or no?
No, unfortunately.
They were too busy pushing Hulkster.
Kevin Nash.
Nash.
I think he attacked Kevin Nash on his debut, actually. He did. He came after Kevin Nash.
I think you had to be over 35, 40 to be getting a main push in WCW at that time.
One more note on Mike Awesome before we jump to my favorite number 4.
Yeah, should have.
I don't know if it's at the end of this match or it was on a TV taping, but Spike Dudley had a girlfriend who looked identical to him. It was weird as fuck.
Yeah, that is weird.
But Mike Awesome clotheslined the fuck and took her head off. I sent it to Younger the other night. Shout out to Younger. I wanted to save it for you for this show, so we'll look at it afterwards. Just a brute, man. And it seemed to be his thing to pick on the little guys though, like Mikey Whipwreck and Spike Dudley, like that.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And it would make sense with his character. And if you're gonna do these, you gotta have all these matches are hardcore matches, right? So you can or Extreme Rules matches, and I guess it's easier to do it because Spike can pull out a chair and pull out a table or a cable and choke him like he is right now when we're watching it, or jump off the top rope with a chair in your hand. And yeah, I don't know. I'm again, like I've said a lot on most shows, but I'm gonna have to go back and watch some Mike Awesome. Maybe I'll just type in Mike Awesome on the network and see some of the best stuff that pops up.
Yeah, me and you got to watch him and Taz.
Ooh,
because they did.
And that's an ECW match.
Yeah, I believe that was where he won the title from Taz.
Okay,
and definitely some shit that I need to even see more full length matches because I've seen little clips here and there.
Yeah,
but yeah,
look for that.
Shout out to Mike Awesome. Number 4.
Wow. Sorry, number 4. Yeah, we got to stop looking at this match over
This
here.
is my fucking boy. Anybody who listens to us on the regular knows what's up because it's Bam Bam motherfucking Bigelow.
Yeah, if you listen to the roundtable, most recent roundtable, he caught that Easter egg.
Bro, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It blows my mind like sometimes when I think of guys that didn't work in one place and worked so well in another place. Like Bam Bam might be like in a top fucking 3, 2. He's definitely in a top 5 list of its own and guys like that.
Like big men? Or you just mean in
just
general?
List of like a guy. Okay, so he was over in the WWEF, and yeah, he did have that WrestleMania match with the Lawrence Taylor, the football guy.
Yep.
That was like a big deal at the time, kind of.
Was that WrestleMania 3 or 4?
No, it was like 7 or 8. But not critically acclaimed, not like a memorable thing, and he never really got his just due. I feel like
in WWF
like,
or F.
When I think of Bam Bam, I think of him with that ECW belt, man, the one that we talked about, the same one that like Lashley and Taz held.
Yep.
And I feel like in ECW is really where he caught his stride and did his thing. Because the guy, again, not a super long reign, 45 days as the champ.
Mm-hmm. Epic match though with Taz.
Oh yeah, man.
Like that's a memorable fucking title match in general for ECW.
Yeah.
Let alone whether he won or lost or whatever. Like that match alone
is a moment in itself.
Exactly, which brings up the title.
Yeah.
It gives the title more significance.
Yeah.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah, no, so Bam Bam Bigelow, man, definitely he cracks the top 5. Probably one of the most impressive big men, I think, too.
Yeah.
Ever. Like, so fucking athletic. A guy ahead of his time, definitely being a guy his size doing a fucking moonsault.
The old Pro Wrestling LookBack applause.
Rest in peace. Shout out.
Shout out Bam Bam.
I almost wanted
me to say it.
I almost wanted like a beep.
Oh,
like a beep, like some type of a like a heartbeat almost.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get it that quickly.
It's a 1. It's a 2. It's a 3. It's the TAZ, the man himself, the human fucking suplex machine.
I think this motherfucker would have been on my number 1.
He would have been. I was gonna say. I'm like. I wonder if Nick will be a little salt if he's, gonna be like, damn, why isn't Taz number 1 again?
No, I'm no. I'm not gonna feel that way.
No.
Whether I understand your picks and you really.
I'm giving good reason. I feel
exactly. Yeah. No, that's what I was gonna say. You always give good reasons. Well, I mean, so far you've always given good reasons for your picks and yeah, but.
Yeah. Just let it rock. Let it kick in for a minute.
Shout out to Taz.
Jesus.
The Taz show is fucking awesome.
Yeah, go listen to that. I listen to it every week. Nick put me on to that. So
I did. And I don't even listen every week now because I used to listen when he was a daily show.
Yeah.
And I loved that show too. But
man, well, we talked about fucking Rob Van Dam being overdue when he won the belt and Tommy Dreamer and shit. I think Taz is the most motherfucking overdue when he won the title.
Really?
That was the whole purpose of him with the the fuck the world shit, right? Because they wouldn't give him his credit. Like he wasn't the champ. So he did his own thing, right? That was what it was.
So he made his own belt.
Yeah.
And he was the fuck the world champion, FTW champion.
And
so when was his first title reign? Was it January 10th, 99?
Yes. Until September of 99, and he held it for 252 days.
Yes.
Fucking love that shit.
From Kissimmee, Florida. Yeah, I guess that when you break it down like that and you look when the company kind of started in 92, 93, for him not to have it until 99, that is, that is quite a while for a top guy, especially a guy, not to cut you off, a guy that was in the original match that included Shane Douglas that we talked about over an hour ago.
Yeah.
and the introduction of the ECW championship. For him to have to wait that long to be given a championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
It is a little crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe in this, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe he was busy like RVD in the sense, I know he had a lot of feuds with Taz where they didn't touch, and because he's talked about that a lot on his show in the sense, Paul Heyman was clear that they do not touch each other until
him and
Sabu, until their first match. So I just mean maybe he was like in significant storylines for quite a while, and
I also know that early
why.
Tasmaniac version was a much different character than what he became.
Oh, totally,
too.
totally.
So,
Yeah. I just meant like he had been putting in the work.
Yeah.
It's not like, I'm sure there's other guys, that showed up later that won the championship. Maybe not, but that showed up later and won the championship that hadn't put in as much time as Taz.
Yeah.
But that happens.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In all forms of wrestling and wrestling promotions.
Easily, like I said to you off pod, but like I feel like my top 3, top 5, almost even, it was very hard. A lot of guys could have ended up at number 1 very easily in my top 5.
Totally.
But Taz, man, when he won it, super fucking over, like probably the most over in the company. Like I don't know if you've ever seen the promo between him and Shane Douglas.
No, shout out to Shane.
And because, man, Taz was the guy to end that reign, like that lengthy, crazy reign that Shane Douglas had at the time. I believe it was 406 days at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, so,
you're right. It is.
And with Taz being so over and then finally building up his character, this killer, this fucking suplex machine, this fucking guy.
Insane.
Kicking
Animal,
ass, right?
Even though he was small, he was treated like and looked at very highly.
Mm-hmm. So, like, perfect timing, too. I feel like they handled him properly in that sense. But, like, anyway, back to that promo I was trying to say.
Yeah, sorry.
Like, just watching it, man, like, the guy comes out, little fucking bandana, tank top, and shit, but the crowd is insanely, like, into him. It was nuts.
Question for you.
Yeah.
The FTW title, was that a separate title from the ECW championship, or was that similar to, like, a Daniel Bryan reincarnation of the WWE title? Was it his version of the ECW title, or was it a belt that he carried around to show people like, fuck you, I deserve to be a champion, so I'm going to wear this?
Yeah.
That's fucking so
To my knowledge, to my knowledge and everything that I know,
it's more with
that's
what it
was.
The second half of what I was saying. That's really cool.
Especially for being Taz, like how his attitude and the way he is. Like,
yeah. As much as I love him, not a guy I would have wanted to run into back in 98.
Yeah.
Even as a fan.
Yeah.
Like, not to say he wasn't nice to his fans. I think Taz, like I've said before, in a way it wasn't a work. He was turned on.
Yeah, you're right.
Unless he was at home with the wife and the kid.
Yeah.
Kids, I don't know if he has more than one. Because his son plays lacrosse. Shout out to him. He was on. He was Taz, the wrestler, unless he was at home, and I don't know his real name because he's very particular about not. I'm sure I can find it. It's 2019, but I know he's never said it on his show.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I just more love before I move on. I want to see Taz, like, just, he does so many good things for the business in, like, his ideas and talking, listening to the show. Like, he should be, I would love to see him more a part of a company and, like, giving any
company,
info, whether anywhere, man.
I agree completely. Definitely a smart wrestling mind.
Mm-hmm. Number 2.
We're getting up there already.
We are close. We're at the nitty gritty. Who could it be? Any ideas?
I think I know the next 2, but
do you?
Let's.
All right. You got to tell me after, because I'm curious.
Yeah, I will. Well, I'll let you know right now if I'm wrong. There's only 2 left, so I'll let you know if I get this one right or wrong.
The franchise gets the number 2 slot.
Really?
That's right.
Shocked me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I throw it off a little for you?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, you did. I think I would have given him the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
Just because of our comparison to Lex Luger and how much he relates to this title the way Lex did to the United States Championship. Callback to, one of our first Championship LookBack shows, the U.S. title.
Here's the problem. He almost was it was I told you it was tough.
Yeah.
He almost was number 1 for me.
So
Taz was almost number 1. Like, it was a mix-up.
Yeah, are you saying maybe if we had our conversation about Lex Luger prior to you making your list, he might have finished number 1?
Might have swayed me a little bit.
I can see that for sure. But yeah, Shane Douglas, I mean,
we've said so much.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how much more we can really talk about other than, this guy, like I said, I feel like he was the John Cena. I don't know if I said that off or on pod, but yeah, the franchise, he was the top dog face of the company for at least a little while in the early days, especially. And the first champion and the promo.
Amazing. Yeah. Amazing. And see, that was the thing. I wasn't necessarily basing it solely off of that, and I wasn't going to be biased and be like, well, he cut a fucking great promo. He had a great reign. He had a few different reigns, but one in particular that was really good in length and in styles and matchups that he had with different guys.
Yep.
But I wanted to, I really dug into it, and I'll get into it in a few here. But yeah, Shane Douglas, man. The franchise gets the number 2 spot.
The number 2 spot for the number 1 face.
With definitely that reign, I want to credit of
the
406 days. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. And I think we looked it up too. What was his combined? It was
his combined is nuts, probably, because he
held it's incredible.
4 times.
874 days combined champion of a 4 title reigns, and Sandman is in second combined days with more title reigns.
Yeah.
And Douglas has almost held the belt twice as long, holding it one less time.
Yeah.
So it's wild. Because Shane Douglas, 4 title reigns, 874. Sandman, 5 title reigns, 446. Jeez. So it's crazy to think that he held it for almost double the amount of time with one less reign in between.
And everybody knows, if you're a regular listener, I'm a mark for long title reigns.
Yes, you are. So, I mean, I am too. Don't get me wrong.
Like, I just love that. That does it for me a lot.
Yeah.
So shout out to Shane Douglas. Good matches.
No, totally.
Different guys, man. A lot of different guys. That's the thing. Like, I know he was so much a part of the early era, but he still extended through into the Taz's and, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Guys like that.
And to be laying the groundwork for the company that ECW did become at the beginning, just cool to see the progression. So
yeah, and that's an iconic promo too. Go watch it.
Oh,
please go watch it.
We wouldn't have started the show if it wasn't. And I didn't want to play the whole thing on our show, so go on, and it's posted. WWE has it posted on their YouTube channel. Go and watch the entire promo. It's fantastic.
Number one.
I don't have a real drum.
Oh, we gotta get Funaki. We gotta get a Funaki drop, maybe.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna get a drum roll before I work on the Funaki soundtrack. All right.
All right.
Or soundbite.
Would you lose your mind if it was Vince McMahon? Like, would we just have to scrap everything at this point?
I think I would just have a different look of your top 10 if it was, but I think I know who it is. I'm gonna let you say it first, but yeah, if it was Vince McMahon, it's not that I think we should scrap it. I just think I need to look at it from maybe a different angle or a different spot, because maybe I'm not looking at it the way I should be if Vince McMahon is number 1.
No, it's definitely. Well, maybe it's Bobby Lashley.
That wouldn't be the same.
Would you be happy?
I wouldn't be happy, but I would feel better than if it was Vince McMahon. Again, one more time.
I had to build it up. a little.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout out to.
No, I was just going to say one more time, shout out to the DVD that we're watching, this triple threat match between Psychosis, Nunzio, and Tajiri. Just a cool collection of classic wrestlers.
Shout out to Tajiri, because he didn't win the title, but he was a big part of ECW too.
Yeah, and we didn't talk much about him, just like you said, because he hadn't won the belt.
Fucking hell.
But yeah.
Number 1, Raven.
That's who I thought it was.
Raven.
That's honestly who I thought.
I'm doing the Raven pose right now.
Yeah, he is giving me the Raven pose.
I'm doing the Raven.
If Donovan could sit cross-legged on the floor and still be recording, he would do it.
If I could,
I know he would.
Yeah, if I could have a grocery cart full of weapons and a flannel shirt wrapped around my waist.
Well, you can wear the flannel shirt. You might look a little out of place in 2019, but you can do it.
I don't know, man.
You can do it. Get you some chains for your pockets, too, while we're at it.
Some jean shorts.
I was thinking jean vest, but if you want to have jean shorts and a vest.
Nice leather jacket.
Yeah. I feel like we're chirping Raven now.
No,
we're not at all.
No, not at all. Trust me. This guy gets number 1 for me because, to me, he's number 1, man. Iconic fucking reign. Iconic reign. I mean, 252 days was the longer of the two, January 1996 to October of 1996. The second being 127 days in December of 96, going into April of 97. But
with a combined 379 days. It's a long time.
Now. So the reason Raven gets the number 1 spot is more because of what he represented at the time and some of the shit he did. Like, I don't know if you I feel like you probably know about it, but I don't know if you do. Have you ever seen the shit with him in the Sandman?
Not specifically,
where
no.
he like crucified him? Like
no, definitely
okay,
not.
so I'm going to get into this because this is a huge part in itself.
Okay.
Well, Kurt Angle was actually in the building that night. Paul Heyman brought in Kurt Angle. And
I feel like you've told me this, but continue.
Yeah, so Kurt Angle was possibly going to sign with ECW, and this moment actually changed Kurt Angle. Like, Kurt Angle was, like, disgusted by it and left and, like, offended. And a lot of the crowd was offended, and people hated this guy. Like, he was
Raven.
A motherfucking heel, yeah. Like, he got Sandman and crucified him. Like, he put him on a cross, and, like, it was like he killed him. It was fucked. And the crowd was, like, losing it.
When you say crucified him, like, what I'm picturing in my head... No, seriously.
Yeah,
what I'm picturing in my head is similar to the Stephanie McMahon Undertaker with the cross kind of leaning on the ropes. Is that what I should be, like, help me paint a picture.
Worse. Okay, so a bloody Sandman,
Yeah.
a crowd of people kind of, they didn't really know, and you couldn't really see what was going on, what Raven was doing here in the whole cross.
Was this
thing.
like Raven's minions or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to Stevie Richards, man.
Shit.
The right to censor later on. Look how he turned a corner.
I told you, whenever I think of him, right, you say right to censor, the first thing I think of is the BWO. That's all that short little t-shirt in the BWO.
That fucking mullet.
Anyway.
But yeah, so, like, yeah, bloody Sandman, you know, then...
Yeah, arms out, like
cross,
in a cross, yeah.
A makeshift, you know, cross. Not as fancy as the WWE one.
Of course not. And the WWE one had the whole Undertaker T type looking shit. You know what I mean?
I
like
think
his logo.
And then, like, placing him, like, in the ropes, like, hanging, facing the crowd almost. And then Raven doing his iconic pose with the title.
Wow.
And everything.
And when was this? Was this 97, you said?
Yeah, this was, like, mid, late 9. I don't know what to classify that really as, you know?
Late 90s, I guess. 7, 8, 9.
A lot of people at the time, like, and even still, like, people have their own beliefs and everything. So this caused, like, a fucking uproar. And, like people in the back hated it.
Like religious people.
Yeah, and even people in the company, like, were like, what the... like, people were like, what the fuck? Like, did Paul okay that? Like, what? Like, people were losing it, yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and watch this because it's hard for me to paint a picture of how bad the scene was, but I guess the blood on him and everything, the way he was strapped, probably.
So it was even more fucked.
Was it like zip ties and shit? How bad is this? Like, fuck. You know what I mean?
I don't know what exactly he used.
I just meant, like...
At the end of the day, like, this whole thing happened, and they had to, like, send Raven back out. They wanted him to apologize and shit.
Whoa.
And Sam...
Not very ECW.
Yeah, right? Raven, I guess, being a good sport, but also being Raven and being the creative motherfucker that he is. He goes out and he's, you know, kind of going to do what they want him to do, but in a very sarcastic type of way. Like, he was not.
Oh, so he went out and apologized, but it was not sincere at all?
Yeah, so he knew what to do with that. Like,
wow.
And I love that because I remember...
And the crowd ate it up, obviously.
Yeah. And hearing about it, I'm like, fuck, you're like you said, that's not very, like, you know?
Yeah.
But for him to twist it, like he did, and he's an amazing promo man. I think he's very underrated as a promo.
Oh, for sure.
Very dark
character too.
Yeah,
somebody that's maybe not talked about as much as he should be.
Yeah, and that's why
in the same realm with, you know,
a Jake the Snake
or
like that type of quiet
or the Undertaker,
creepy,
honestly,
like, you know, that,
yeah, or a Bray Wyatt. Like I would put him in the same Undertaker Bray Wyatt type of category.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you had a match with those three in a triple threat, it wouldn't be that far fetched. Or if a Sting, Raven, Bray Wyatt, Undertaker match, they would all kind of fit together. Yeah, great character, man. And also at the time, the original like Raven look and style, I think he used to come out to like that Offspring track. I remember. I think I'm 95% sure. Yeah. Anyway, his look was very like I don't know the track.
Very grunge, very Nirvana, very like he
late 90s
captured that. Yeah, and put it into wrestling, which was amazing. Like, it's great when you can see guys do that, much like you know, John Cena did in his time with the whole Thugonomics thing. Like, when you can capture something outside of wrestling and bring it in like that, it just makes it that much more special. I think.
No, that's a great point. I'm trying to think of another example of somebody more current that would bring something in, but no, I like where you're going with that. And Raven is a great pick. Obviously, I kind of had a feeling. I mean, when we got past number 5 and I hadn't seen Raven yet, I had a feeling it was coming up there. I got to be honest, I thought you were going to have it reversed. I thought Raven would be 2 and Douglas would be 1. But when I mentioned Raven in my memorable champions, I mean, you popped like...
did I give it away?
Not give it... You didn't give it away, but you definitely popped, hard.
Yeah.
Like Izzy when Bailey was coming out in NXT.
I'm Izzy?
I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my head.
Oh, fuck.
Have you seen her lately?
No.
She's all grown up.
God damn.
It's different, that's for sure.
Well, if she was here, I'd hit her with a kendo stick.
Sandman style with a dart and a beer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's number 1.
Shout out to fucking Raven.
Shout out to Raven. Shout out to the ECW Championship and everybody.
Shout out to ECW
in general. Yeah.
Shout out to Paul Heyman.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
You're the man. I don't know if this, like I said, the amount of things that may not exist today in the world of professional wrestling without a place like ECW to groom wrestlers, to toughen up wrestlers, to bring people in like Rey Mysterio and Psychosis and wrestlers like that may not have fought for the WWE or the ECW championship, but, changed the way people watched wrestling, because then you've seen Eric Bischoff sign these guys and bring them over to WCW and then eventually over to WWE, and that all stemmed from ECW. And sure, if ECW wasn't there, maybe they would have had another place that they went first. But I still think that ECW is very significant in the way that it changed wrestling. And I don't mean changed it hardcore brutality. I just mean it gave it a different look, a grungier look, like you were talking about with Raven, and a place where people that weren't, I don't want to use the word, but like, big, bulky, juice head type guys could go and have good matches as well.
Yeah.
Like an Eddie Guerrero and a Dean Malenko have in ECW. And to bring it not full circle, but to what we talked about with CM Punk.
Yeah.
Would CM Punk have had the career that he had if he wasn't in ECW in his early stages? If Paul Heyman didn't, I'm sure Paul Heyman was the one that noticed him out of Ring of Honor, not Vince, and called him up to ECW or had him be signed.
Yeah, it was an affiliate of Paul who passed him on. And
there you go, right? So, ECW and the ECW Championship are 2 significant things in the history of professional wrestling. And when you talk about professional wrestling in a history sense, those are 2 things that should be included in that conversation almost every time.
There might have never been a hardcore title if it wasn't for ECW.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? In many ways, the Attitude Era was a response to WCW and ECW. That was the attitude. That was their answer. Like that was
it was kind of a combination of what you got in the 2, but also building stars at the same time, right? Something that WCW didn't really do.
Exactly.
That we talked about. But was there any other stuff from the ECW Championship you wanted to get in there, Don?
No, but just to any of the listeners, go check out some motherfucking Raven promos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Some matches too. Him and Dreamer. Check it out. Check out the Sandman shit. It's wild.
So yeah, you've got some stuff to watch. I mean, if you've been listening to this show, I mean, we definitely want you to go check out some Raven promos. Go pick yourself out Bloodsport ECW Most Violent Matches if you can find it on eBay or Amazon or wherever you're buying DVDs nowadays, or stream it somewhere. If you do that type of stuff, find it somewhere and then watch some classic matches and get involved in this stuff. You know what I mean? It's worth watching. It's worth, if you're a younger fan and you haven't seen this stuff and you can stomach it, some of it, then go ahead and watch it and realize the significance of, the ECW Championship and everything it did for the business.
Yeah, definitely.
Any closing thoughts there, Don?
No. Just take it away. Give me that drop. Give me that amazing extreme.
There it is. Are you going to send us off, or should I give it out the whole plugs and everything there, Donnie?
Oh, yeah, you can throw the plugs.
I don't know if I can call you Donnie. I've never called you that before.
DVD.
Oh, yeah, DVD tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like he might hit me with a steel chair, guys, now that I called him Donnie. I'm feeling a little tension in the air. But like I said at the beginning of the show, and if you don't already, go check us out on Instagram and Twitter at PWLookBack on both of those. We can you'll get all of our updates and everything that we post on Instagram as well as Twitter, like I said, for upcoming roundtables, look-back shows, championship look-back shows, and everything else in between. You can email us, prowrestlinglookback@gmail.com, or you can send us a DM on Twitter and or Instagram. If you want to get a t-shirt or a sticker or any Pro Wrestling Look Back merchandise, head over to teespring.com/Pro Wrestling Look Back. If you want, check out the website as well, prowrestlinglookback.wordpress.com. And if you're listening, you know where we're at. iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, YouTube. All the episodes, like I said, are all on YouTube, and everything that we've done since the beginning of 2019 is up on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. Shout out to Podbean again for being the hosts. We appreciate the hell out of that. Thank you very much. If you want to check out me on Twitter, it's at Salsa, SCELSA.
I'm at JustDon44.
And if you want to check out Younger as well, it's at ZJVY93. I think I'm going to let you close this one out, Don.
Well, it's been the whole effing show. Don Van Dam.
Don Van Dam and Nick. I'm Nick.
DVD. Telling you to stay classy. Keep it extreme.